Everybody please stand. As we say a prayer tonight, think of it also in your own faith and belief. But I share with you tonight, dear Lord, thank you for the goodness and mercy that we receive every day. We thank you that we have found a calling to serve our community. We are here today to discuss topics that will move this community forward. Come and take center stage with us in this meeting. Give us new ideas to be able to stand head and shoulders above our competitors. Grant us the wisdom to make this meeting a productive one. Remove any distractions that will make this meeting unproductive. We start with you and we end with you. Thank you, Lord, for this prayer. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you.
All right, Kevin, would you please call the roll?
Member Orr?
Here.
Member Matheny?
Here.
Member Revolt?
Here.
Member Stroy?
Here.
Member Waring?
Just call her again.
Did you call my name?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm here.
All right. Member Wyrick and Member McLeister.
Here.
Motion to excuse Member Wyrick.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, we will begin the recognition of the public. Each individual will be granted 5 minutes to speak. The time and rules will be displayed on the screen. When is your turn to speak, please come to the podium and begin by stating your name and address for the record. As this is a special meeting, comments will be limited to the items on the agenda today.
Larry Tripp, 11270 East Maple, North Canton, Ohio. Last week I spoke on the DORA subject, and some of my concerns were answered during and after this meeting. While the in-house discussion was beneficial, it only addressed those aspects of DORA which Council saw as beneficial to its views. Ordinance 55-2020 was written for the purpose, and I quote, whereas the city seeks to use the DORA legislation in a portion of the downtown business district to enhance commerce, improve the economic climate, create employment opportunities, and build an identity within the district. It is clear none of these intents have or are happening. As was discussed last week, recent events such as the 720 Traveling Craft Show along with the summer series sponsored by the library could be held without the DORA changes being suggested tonight. To use the library and a church parking lot as components for a successful DORA concept once again makes the suggestion to me and others Ordinance 55-2020 is not working as intended. Councilman Orr, since you introduced Ordinance 45-2022, perhaps you can explain why you believe the components as written on the 2020 ordinance are being met. At the same time, please explain how $52,000 was generated as additional commercial activity in 2021 and why the original ordinance was violated by city personnel in its first event. The North Canton Social Network has been running rapid this week with Councilman Stroya and McLeister joining the action. One of the hot topics being the situation concerning the Kmart property as reported by the repository personnel in a recent newspaper article. Actually, the article reported nothing new with the exception of perhaps $20 million new building being constructed with around $350,000 property tax being created. We as citizens have heard and read about council activities, promises, but no results. This is what we do know. City loses $426,000 grant to renovate Blitzer Park. Thus a loss of identity to the downtown district. City sees the dream of Kmart property being an office type complex completely destroyed because you say of COVID. But now, in spite of COVID, Hudson enjoys this dream. We've heard of the 300 new jobs at Myers and now a $20 million building. But as of this date, nothing but confusion. Yet just a mile from my home, Marathon announces a plan, demolishes their old facility and rebuilds a new one in a matter of 6 months. Corner of Market and Easton within Plain Township. 6 months. Recently, we had 5 professionals address City Council. One, in my opinion, somewhat intimidated and humiliated. The other 3 somewhat ignored, with the attorney representing Acme not even receiving a thank you for speaking. So, is this the reason city representatives continue to outnumber citizens at council meetings? In closing, let me tell you a story. That may pertain to city government or even its citizens. This is a story of 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. This was an important job to be done. Everybody was sure somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about this because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. Thank you. I told her she was gonna start.
Anyone else wanting to address council?
Yeah. Ken McAdams, I live at 1101 Woodrow Street, Northwest. And I got a couple of quick questions. One, with this SWPA stuff that's going on, is there gonna be anything sent to the residents about what that entails? What it is, what it's for? I'm asking, yes or no, is there gonna be something in writing sent to the residents describing it?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
The water protection thing.
SWPPP.
Oh, yeah, source water protection?
Yeah,
I don't know that we're sending out notices because it's probably too large of an area to.
Well, it's targeted at businesses.
Oh, okay.
is it targeting businesses or is it targeting residents too? Because my address is on there.
Well, everybody's address is in there, but the focus is on businesses that may be storing or transporting hazardous chemicals
Okay,
in sufficient volume that if they leak, could cause a potential hazard to our drinking water.
okay, so that shouldn't have nothing to do with what I'm, my fertilizing and all that other stuff.
No.
And weed killing and all that to maintain my property. Quick question number 2. Is this proposed roundabout at Charlotte and Portage gonna be brought up at any of these council meetings before it happens?
Yes.
My statement regarding this mess up here that is supposed to be Myers. You guys got 2 gas stations that are directly affected, and you wanna put one in right across the street from it. It's like the Acme thing. What's gonna happen to them 2 little guys? BP right there, I'm talking about the speedway. They're gonna get undercut, they're gonna have to close up, and they're gonna have more empty buildings sitting up there. You got the Marathon down here on Main Street. You got the little Sunoco down there on Main Street. You got the Sheets over there on the corner. Why is it that we have to have a special ordinance to put another damn gas station sitting up there on Main Street when you don't want, when you already have laws in place or ordinances that don't permit it to begin with. Why? It's ridiculous. You got the extra truck traffic that's gonna be going in and out of there. You got the extra car traffic that's gonna be going in and out of there. I don't think the infrastructure for the roads is gonna be up to par to take care of that kind of volume again. Now, here we go. Now, waste of money with this building up there. Did Meyer buy it? Meyer buy the property from the city? Did they?
It's underway.
It's underway. How long has it been underway? And it's already being torn out.
Yeah, this is, we're not,
No,
we're not answering this. Wait, okay. Listen, so when you address council recognition of the public, it's not a question and answer. So you can ask the questions and we'll answer afterwards. But it's not.
I want answers to the
That's
question.
fine.
I don't see the point, another gas station, another grocery store going in, to try and drive the people that are already there and create more empty buildings.
Thank you.
Can I get your house number again, please?
1101 Woodrow Street.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anyone else wanting to speak tonight?
Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street, Southeast, North Canton, Ohio. The very last words spoken before last week's council meeting was adjourned was that there would not be a council meeting the following week. The council would double up and have two meetings on June 27, 2022. So I ask, why is there a council meeting being held tonight? Has some emergency befallen the city? Is there legislation that is absolutely, positively must be enacted into law and signed immediately by the mayor for the health and welfare of the citizens of North Canton? Let me read what the city charter says about special meetings. And I quote, "Special meetings of council may be called as provided by its rules, regulations, bylaws, or by resolution or by ordinance. In the absence of any such provision, special meetings may be called by a vote of council," which we did not have last week, "taken at any regular or special meeting thereof, or shall be called by the clerk of council upon the written request of the mayor or the president of council, or by any three members of council. Notice in writing of each special meeting called at the request of the mayor, president of council, or by three members of council, shall state the date, time, subject, or subjects to be considered, and no other subject or subjects shall be considered thereat." That's section 2.04 of the charter. The operative words from the charter are subject or subjects to be considered. Mayor Wilder's request for a special council meeting fails to list each and every subject to be taken up, but instead simply lists ordinance numbers 47-2022 through 52-2022 charter amendments, without listing the subject of each of those 6 proposed amendments. Further, the meeting request states the purpose of the meeting is to discuss. If council is to simply discuss those ordinances, shouldn't this have been a request for a committee meeting? Clearly, the purpose of the meeting request should begin with the words, "to consider passage." The special meeting request is incomplete and misleading for citizens. In addition to failing to list the subjects with proper description to comply with the city charter, the request was apparently so rushed and not proofed as it has spelling errors. In addition, the special council meeting follows a continuing trend to misuse special council meetings by treating them as regular council meetings to clear all legislation moving through the steps for passage by accelerating readings that normally would be read in regular scheduled council meetings. What has happened to the tried and true, dependable legislative cycle of committee meetings on the first and third Monday of each month and council meetings on the second and fourth Monday? Citizens could set their clock by that routine. They could understand it and depend on it. A week ago, the entire 7 members of council were fully in agreement that there was no need for a meeting this week. If Mayor Wilder has pressing business for council, why was this need not communicated before council's announcement that there would be no meeting? And why accelerate the reading and passage of legislation that citizens may be had planned on addressing at council meetings that was announced for June 27th, 2022? The only reason for public meetings is for the public, so as to allow citizens to be partners in their government. Yet I see this goal slipping away more and more in North Canton city government. To switch to the charter amendments, as I spoke in detailed manner last week, most of the proposed charter amendments are not beneficial to citizens. If you want to eliminate needless budget deadlines, fine and dandy. If you want to save on advertising expense, fine and dandy. But if you change to 4-year terms, as I explained last week, currently with a 2-year residency requirement, new residents in North Canton could possibly have to live here for 4 years before they could ever run for council. And by increasing the terms to 4 years, you could stretch that to 6 years. Take it in baby steps. Going to a 4-year term for mayor would be fine. If you're so concerned about being left with no talent left on council, then alternate the 2-year terms. Wards one cycle, and the at-large another cycle. That solves your problem. And lastly, I am irritated beyond staying calm. Where is my elected council member? We are milking these virtual attendants designed for COVID, and we all know it. Mrs. Warren, I hope you're listening. I want you to report where you are physically at this time. Now, I know, I've been advised, Mr. McLeisher unfortunately has come down with COVID. We know Mr. Revolt was physically not even in the state a week ago when he failed to show up and he attended virtually. Thank goodness that's going to be over. But Mrs. Warren, I want here and now to hear where you are physically right now. This is wrong. You are milking something that was designed to keep government operating during the height of COVID. We've got vaccines. I've had 4. I want to hear from you, Mrs. Warren. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wanting to address council tonight?
Yeah. With the president's permission, I'd like to talk briefly about Meyer, and I'm going to answer some of your questions, sir.
Thank
First of all, I want to say that the Meyer project, and that's what I'm going to call it, is a complicated transaction with multiple components to it. As you probably know, we own approximately 30 acres. Meyer will likely purchase a portion of it. But I think what's important is that the community understand that the Meyer project is a pro-school, pro-fire EMS, pro-police project. Meyer is prepared to invest $20 million in a new store. That $20 million equates to $350,000 per year in new revenue. That's found dollars for the school system alone. The rep missed that in its story. To put that into some perspective, that $350,000 per year in real estate taxes will cover 40% of the cost of one of the new schools under construction today. 40%. That's 40% that the taxpayers don't have to eat.
No,
That's terrific.
yeah.
All right. In addition, fire and EMS will see approximately $22,000 in new revenue generated by real estate tax. And the police, the payroll from that mire will generate well over $100,000 in new income tax revenue. And our police depend upon income tax, not property tax, income tax. It's income tax that exclusively pays for that for the police department and subsidizes fire EMS.
Okay.
All right. I should note that Meijer is also a pro-consumer project because consumers will now have a choice in a competitive marketplace. There will be competition for grocery. There'll be competition for gas. I can tell you that from experience this last weekend that Costco was offering gas at about 45 cents a gallon less than the prevailing rate for its members. 45 cents a gallon. Now, yeah, my point is, and I don't know where Meijer will be. Okay. But the point is this, is if you're driving to Akron to work and you've got to fill up a couple times a week and you can save 30, 40 cents on a fill up, that's not insignificant. And as we look at 40 cents a gallon, right. As we look at inflation, running at 8% or more, and if we slide into a fairly deep recession, the ability for our residents to save
Is non-existent.
We're hoping that we can diminish some of the impact of those inflationary trends. So when we look at this project, again, I think it's important to understand that the school system is absolutely critical to the city's future. We have made a commitment to the schools to avoid, whenever and wherever possible, tax abatements. There is no property tax abatement currently at the new Diebold facility. There is none associated with Meijer. So those dollars are going to go right to the school. And again, I underscore this, $350,000 a year in
Who
new revenue.
calculated these figures you're citing?
Okay, guys, let's review the rules of council. Last week, I know, that's why.
Yeah, I
It's a
He's out of here. He's out of here.
Let's make it fair.
Okay,
He's out of here.
so from now on, listen, there's no discussion back and
I
forth.
understand.
It's for everybody.
Let's be fair.
No more warnings.
Okay.
This is it. Thank you.
So the point is that this is really a huge opportunity for the community. Rarely do we have projects of this scope. We're not in the business again of picking winners and losers. Our purpose is to give consumers a choice. And if we can create an environment where there's potential savings, we think that's a huge benefit. I think as you've heard tonight, and I can't speak for anybody else on council, but this is one these type of projects come once in a generation. If you have a place for them and can put the tools together. The last big project we had was Washington Square. That was the last big one. We haven't had any. We've got Diebold through the efforts of Mayor Wilder and Mr. Diorio. It's a $10 million project. And we've got this one. So this project's worth fighting for. And I think it's in the community's interest to understand that if you don't have redevelopment at Hoover, Kmart, you end up with a desolate area. Half the Kmarts in Northeast Ohio are unused. They're sitting empty. I think council, the city, the administration, to its credit, assembled a plan to bring that property back online and produce value. We're very fortunate that we're where we are. We're slowly making headway. As you know, the building's down. Sergeant Clean has indicated its desire for a presence there. And one of the things that we do know is that not only will the site in question increase in value, but the properties around it will too. And we don't know what those opportunities will look like, but I think we'll be ready to support them when the time occurs. I hope that answers your question. We can't debate this as the House of Commons.
No, I'm not going to debate it. That answers a lot.
Yeah.
I would like to talk to you more about it.
Offline. But again, this is a big deal. And we have people in this community who would like very much to frustrate this. And I was looking for a couple of comments, and I came across one by, you're probably not familiar with a guy named H.L. Mencken, who was a literary critic and writer back in the 1920s and 30s. And he used to criticize he made a critique of the Puritans, who said that they had a haunting fear that someone somewhere may be happy. Well, we've got people in town, frankly, who have a haunting fear that someone, somehow, some way, might be successful. We might actually pull this off. Mencken had a second quote, and this goes to the importance that I attach this, and I don't speak for anybody around this table. But let me read it to you. It's on a political site that I read. He says that every normal man must be tempted at times to spit upon his hands, hoist the black flag, and begin slitting throats. He's being figurative. And so am I.
I would hope so.
Yeah, get me into big trouble. But the point is, this is a project worth fighting for. I will spit on my hands and I will hoist the black flag. This is a big deal. And I want to assure you that there are a whole lot of people who are working very hard to make this happen for this community, knowing at the end of the day, it's pro-school, it's pro-police, it's pro-fire EMS, and it's pro-community.
I'll go with that.
And nobody can ever say to us, you let that site rot and you didn't do a damn thing. I will not amend my comment on it. We did it and are doing it.
I still have a couple questions.
Fair enough.
If I can ask.
Fair enough. I'm going to tell you right now, I may not be able to answer
Okay.
because we're not in a position to answer the questions. But I can tell you this right now. There's probably going to be a time where there's going to be some cold crow served up on styrofoam plates. And there will be some people who eat it.
I'm not, the reservations
Let's talk about, not,
that I have.
Okay, I'm done.
2 points I want to add to Daryl's points of income. One is the sale of the property and the acreage that's going to come in. And the second is water revenue. So there's 2 other points on top of all that other stuff that Daryl said that is going to be working for us. So it is a big deal. This project is huge, and it's to stop it for competition purposes. That's not on the table. It's not on the table when it's that detrimental to not only our schools but the rest of the city. It's not on the table.
Let's go on.
Mayor, did you want to? Yeah, I think you wanted to
Continue
mention
on.
something. Sure.
Continue. Let's go.
Continue on.
Let's go with old business.
All right. Moving on to old business. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 24-2022?
Revolt moves.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And
Jamie.
Is that everybody? Is that
I'm not sure, just Stephanie.
Stephanie? Did you vote?
I did, yes.
Okay. All right. Motion carries. Kevin?
An ordinance amending chapter 1136 Main Street Districts Regulations of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton, specifically accessory uses as listed in section 1136.05 in order to add thereto gasoline station as an accessory use requiring a conditional use permit in the Main Street North Gateway District.
Daryl.
I'm not going to add anything. Motion to adopt. Third reading.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah. Everybody? Did we get everybody there? Okay. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 6B, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 31-2022?
Revolt moves.
Where in second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Opposed? Motion carries. Kevin?
An ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of North Canton to reclassify 2,850 parcels in the city of North Canton in accordance with the amendment procedure set forth in chapter 1182 of the Planning and Zoning Code, in order to add to the zoning classification thereof source water protections, zoning overlay districts in order to protect the drinking water resources of the city of North Canton, Ohio.
All right, Jamie, you're up.
All right, I'm going to do my best here. I've got a little bit of a lag. So basically, this is the third reading. This is the map that has come back from the Planning Commission. And really, I don't know if I have anything additional to add. Again, with my lag here, I'm going to pass to Patrick to see if he has anything to add from the administration.
Nothing to add.
All right, with that, I would move that we adopt.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 You guys can hear that better than me. Over there, I can't hear this well. Stephanie?
I agree.
Okay. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 45-2022?
I'll make that motion.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Kevin?
An ordinance amending ordinance 55/2020, establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area, DORA, in the city of North Canton in order to expand the hours of operation and area thereof.
Okay, this is a second reading. We want to include Monday and Tuesday with this and the area. St. Paul's approached us and wanted their parking lot included in that door as an area. So that's about all I have to add. So I'll make a motion. We pass this.
Revolt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to ordinance. Have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 48.
About 47. I will move, we read by title only, second reading, ordinance 47-22.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Kevin?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of altering the terms of office of elected officials of the city of North Canton and thereby establish 4-year alternating terms beginning on January 1st.
Again, this is the second reading of this. It's to elect, have the mayor go for 4 years and the council at large for 4 years. So I'll make a motion. We move on with this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
They're both good.
Okay. Opposed?
I
Motion
never
carries.
heard anything on the record.
Chuck, no. Get out. Every meeting, it's beyond the point of disrespect. Every time you have to say something. Please leave.
She's making a mockery of this whole session. And you let our conversation go on and on and on. You.
Okay, and you didn't learn from that?
Mr. President. You want him back and doing it all for me?
No, I don't. Thank
Well, I'm
you.
not gonna get my camera.
Make him leave.
Go ahead. Wait. So we're on to 48.
Yep.
And I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 48-2022.
Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Kevin?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of simplifying the notice requirements imposed on the clerk of council for special meetings of city council.
Well, this will make the clerk's job a lot easier. Won't have to hand deliver. I think there's 3 ways of doing it. Okay, it's hanging a notice on the bulletin board at City Hall. I believe emailing all of us is the other one. They're calling us. I believe it's the third. So this is the second reading, so I'll make a motion. We move on with this.
Motion to adopt, Revolt will second that motion to adopt.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 50-2022, 49-2022?
Revolt will move.
Story seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Kevin?
Ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of clarifying the legislative process of the city of North Canton and establishing distinct differences between ordinances and resolutions.
Well, this again, it's in its second reading. It's not, a lot of people don't know the difference between ordinances and resolutions. This will clarify it. So I make a motion that we move on with this.
Revolt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 50-2022?
I'll make that motion.
Revolt will second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Kevin?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of eliminating the requirement that legislation be published in a newspaper.
Again, this is the second reading. The newspaper is very expensive to advertise in, and all the different things we can do through emails and stuff of that nature, posting it on websites. I make a motion, we move on with this.
Revolt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, can I have a motion and a second to read by title only 51-2022?
Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Kevin?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of eliminating the budget deadlines of May 15th for revenues and June 15th for expenses.
All right, again, the second reading, we heard from Gina. The deadline will be, I think, December 30th or 31st. So again, I make a move to move on with this.
And this has the clarifying language that, of the deadline that Dave sought of December 31.
Of December
So
31,
that
right.
language was inserted.
Good.
We've made a motion. I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We got everyone, okay. Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 52-2022?
Revolt moves.
Story of seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Kevin?
An ordinance to submit to the electors of the city of North Canton a charter amendment for the purpose of permitting council to call charter review commissions more frequently than every day.
Currently, it's every 10 years on, I think, on the seventh. So, especially with new things coming up and stuff, it's a great idea. So I'll make a motion that we continue with this.
Revolt will second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to, I have a motion and a second to read by title only 53-21.
Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Stephanie, did you vote?
I'm sorry, I did. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
An ordinance amending chapter 155 personnel regulations of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton, specifically section 155.09, leave of absence provisions, subsection C, vacation regulations to amend the vacation accrual method for full-time exempt personnel.
Once again, special thanks to administration for working out this program. This is the accrual of vacations by hours worked instead of just annually. So they accrue hours on a biweekly basis when they get paid. It also allows for employees to take vacation time in quarter-hour increments, which is a huge benefit for the employees. And then the final part has to do with carryover vacation, and I believe they max out at 2 times their annual amount. And anything that exceeds that is then paid out quarterly to the employees, so they maintain a maximum amount of 2 times their normal annual amount of vacation. Is that right, Mr. Diorio?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns? None seen? I make a motion that we adopt for the second reading
Revolt
ordinance
will second.
5322.
Revolt will second.
2022.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. At this time, I have a motion and a second to enter into an executive session for the purpose of collective bargaining as permitted under ORC 121-22 G4.
Moves.
Second?
All in favor?
Nope.
Oh,
Roll call.
no. Kevin, would you call the roll, please?
Member Orr,
Aye.
Member Matheny,
Yes.
Member Revolt,
Yes.
Member Stroy,
Yes.
Member Waring,
Yes.
Member McLeese.
Okay.
I think it
Carries.
calls for me as breaking up. I'm a yes.
Okay, we gotcha. For the record, will the Directors of Administration, Law, and Finance, Mayor Wilder, and the Deputy Director of Administration join council. At this time, we are entering into executive session and are off the record. G, we go back to Zoom. Adjourn executive session. Are you guys back recording? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Revolt moves adjournment of the executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'm gonna bring up the meeting calendar before we adjourn here. So on the 27th, we're just gonna keep that open.
The administration is working on two pieces of legislation that we hope to get to council before they get to recess.
Okay,
One, in addition to a collective bargaining agreement. And I think you still have some unfinished business from tonight, which is second reading.
yes, we do have one. Okay, so do we need,
The law director and an internal team to try to get that legislation done. So I'll know a little bit more
okay,
in the next day or two. Hopefully we'll be able to have something.
okay, that sounds good. Thank you. And then on July 11th will be our last meeting before we adjourn for summer recess.
Good enough.
And then we'll get the specifics of that meeting as they come out.
Okay.
Okay.
So for next Monday, it's a meeting or just still in the board?
Yes, we'll plan on having a meeting unless there's nothing there, but yeah, looks like we're going to.
Okay.
Sorry. Motion to adjourn.
Revolt moves adjournment.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Stephanie?
You good with the adjournment? Say yes?
Adjourned.
5 in favor.
All right, 5 in favor, adjourned.
Bye, Stephanie.